Good evening and welcome to the March 9th edition of the State of the Plate. I'm Scott Bierman, Senior Director of Government Affairs at the Georgia Restaurant Association, filling in for Karen this week. As some of you may be aware, Monday was crossover day down at the General Assembly. And day is the day in which a bill has to pass from one legislative chamber to the other to be considered and eventually make it to the governor's office for a signature. We track at the GRO, we track many bills. I think our tracking documents have had several hundred bills on it as we came over to crossover day. But a few that we wanted to highlight that did make it across include House Bill 206, which creates the Commercial Property Assessed Conservation, Energy, and Resiliency Development Authorities. It's better known as CPACE, much easier to say and rolls off the tongue a little better. Basically allows local jurisdictions to opt into a program where it would create a development authority that would allow local businesses to finance energy savings building upgrades through a 30-year special tax assessment. Now, roughly 30 other states do this currently. Georgia would be somewhere in that 30, 35 range, depending on how other states pass theirs throughout their legislative sessions. But would just ease the burden of making some of the energy efficient upgrades and spread that over some time. Now, one thing to note, this is not a mandate. It would allow local jurisdictions to opt in or opt out of the program, so it wouldn't be mandated across the state, but also would allow lien holders on the property and current financiers of the property to have a say in the process to make sure they signed off on it and then weren't getting skipped over in the process. Another bill that we've looked at was Senate Bill 146. This one does a lot in terms of electric vehicle charging and building of the infrastructure. But one item of note, which was on some of our priorities for the year coming in, it would allow businesses like restaurants to install EV charging stations in their parking lots and charge per the kilowatt hour for customers to use them while they're inside their establishments. A lot of other things passed. It was a long day at the Capitol, both last Thursday as we led up to crossover day and crossover day itself. And while they did get a lot done, I think it's also important to note there were several items that did not pass. Bills around cottage kitchens and micro kitchens didn't get through. Items that we spoke in favor of that didn't make it across, unfortunately. Senate Bill 126, the Consumer Inflation Reduction and Tax Fairness Act, again, another mouthful. This was a bill that would have removed the interchange fee on the sales tax portion of a credit card sale. Now, this bill received 2 hearings and got some very good feedback and very good comment, but ultimately did not pass the committee stage and get to the floor. And then House Bill 438 would expand on the fuel choice legislation that was passed a few years ago. And this would have included a prohibition on using building codes to ban natural gas appliances, including kitchen appliances, in any sort of local ordinance process. Now, I will add that while these bills didn't make it through, and a lot of other bills didn't make it through, any language from any bill can be added to another bill during this time. And just because the bill is dead itself for this legislative session, doesn't mean the language is dead itself. And also, we are in year 1 of a 2-year process. So while bills may not have passed this year, they are still live for the next legislative session and can be heard again next year, as we hope with some of the ones that we have advocated for that didn't make it this time around will be heard again. Next week, the General Assembly will be in session 4 days as we move closer to the March 29th end of session. A lot's going to be going on. So as always, please keep your eyes peeled on the Georgia Restaurant Association weekly e-newsletter and any alerts that we send out throughout the week where we can have a call to action to get you guys involved in the process. Thank you again for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. Thank you.